What was that thing that sparked when you saw him or when you saw her? What was it that attracted you the most to him or to her? No matter who earns more, no matter who learns more, no matter who does more. My mom taught me that in order to live with somebody or in order to live with people in harmony, you should always remember that you and your siblings grow up together in the same home, the same bloodline, and you guys still don't agree on everything. So what about somebody from a different upbringing, a different blood, a different everything? Ideology is different, everything. And you guys decide to come together to live together and make a home. There are going to be differences. There are going to be arguments. But it should be in a respectful way. Hello, family, and welcome back to the Jimzetta Horace Show. And of course, I'm your host, Jimzetta Horace. I am Dende. I hope you're doing good out there today. I hope it's a bright and beautiful day wherever you are. And I hope you're finding time to spend some time with your family members, your loved ones today, and just appreciate them. And let this be every day, not just on a special day. Let this be every day. Just tell them how much you love them. Find reason to spend some time with them every day because it's important. We've been talking about some of the good things that relocating abroad or being an immigrant brings to you as a person or to your family as a whole. And today we're going to talk about one thing, one downside, if I should say, of relocating abroad. And as Africans, this is becoming a very huge problem for us. It's becoming a very big problem for us. And that is our love, our relationships, our marriages. Relocating abroad affects us in many different ways as a family. And if you know, on this channel, family is a thing for us because I believe in family. I believe that the family unit is one of the best things that God ever created. And just that bond of being together, there's nothing compared to it. That's the biggest support group you can ever get as a person. Today, we're just going to be diving a little bit into some ways that the immigrant life or the immigrant marriage, the immigrant relationship has been affected by traveling or by relocating. And the first thing I'm going to talk about here is the issue of adapting. I'm sorry, I'm looking down. I'm just looking at my notes. Adapting to our new environment. We all know that the man is the head of the home, and most times he pushes things around. He makes decisions. Most decisions, even though he's going to consult the wife, but most times he has already made up that decision in his head before he just comes to tell the wife about it. She's just the hearer of it. Not really. He really don't come for her input as a whole. He just want to pass it by her. And so most African men are so used to that. And for us, the women, even though sometimes they don't really sit well with us, but we try to cope with it because that's what we're used to. That's what we've seen all our lives. That's what we grew up into. And so we kind of get used to it. And we just move on with it. We just live with it. That, oh yeah, whatever you say. So that's what we do. But when we are fortunate to travel outside of our countries and we come to the West where we get more exposure, and I would say exposure comes in two different ways, more like the adaptation part, because we can adapt to some of the negative things, and some people choose to adapt only to some positive things, but there's two sides to every coin. There's the negative side and the positive side. And so we find ourselves caught in the middle of these things. We really don't know. A lot of us cannot make decisions on our own. A lot of us still cannot figure out what's good enough for us. Which one should we take? Which one we should not take? And so we just go about just going with the flow, and we allow this new environment, the things we see on the television, the people we hang out with now. I mean, maybe at work or maybe in the new communities we find ourselves. The things that happen there, we tend to come home and just, impose them in our relationships. We're not going to try to sit and weigh it and see whether it's applicable to ours, but we just want to impose it on our partner or in our relationship, whether be it on the partner or on the kids. We just want to force it down on them because we feel like, oh, it's happening in that person's home. Oh, that person said that's what they do. Or I went to that person's house and that's what they do. Or on the show, I saw that on the show. And, on the TV or on the news, they say the man did this, they say the woman did that. And so, we kind of take those things and we don't really weigh our own situations. And I always say to people, every marriage, every relationship is unique. So you don't take another person's situation to apply to yours, because that shoe might not even fit on you. Obviously, the both of you probably not wearing the same size. So why would you want to use their measurement to cut your own shoes or cut your own clothes? That's impossible. Everybody's relationship, everybody's marriage is unique. So go ahead. Don't apply everything you see to your marriage or to your relationship or even on your kids, because your situation is different from mine. Mine is different from the other. Even the things they show on television, I mean, that's even the worst one, because they just be telling you your vision. They're telling you what to do. Yes, and there is no one size fit all for life. So I mean, I really don't follow TV shows or stuff. I don't do it, because I just feel like it's just for entertainment, and that's where it should stop. It should stop right at entertainment, but not to be for me to apply or for me to try to look like them, act like them, be like them, want to be like them. No, it's just for entertainment purposes. That's where it should stop. That's what I believe. And the second thing affecting our marriages, our relationships abroad, and I would say that's the major thing: time. We don't have any means of spending quality time with one another. Once you relocate, starting life anew is difficult. If the husband was here before and you got here, obviously he has to overwork because now you're here as a dependent. And in the process of doing paperwork for you, and depending on the circumstance you came on, or depending on what visa you came on, it makes it kind of difficult to even see him. Or if the wife is the one who's here and sent for the husband, it makes it kind of difficult for the husband to even see his wife, because now she has to work double because she has a second person at home. And staying at home all day means you're keeping the heat running, especially when we come fresh. We're not used to the cold, especially if you lay here during the winter time, you're doomed. you just want to keep the heat running because you're not used to the temperature here. So you're going to try to just keep that heat running in the house, while the wife or the husband, who's the person who sent for you, they're going to work. The meters are not running. But when you're home, I mean, everything has to be on, and then we got the bills running up. So now that means they have to work double to be able to cover up the extra few dollars that are going to be added. And so you barely get to see them. You guys barely get to spend time together. First thing, traveling has already, that long distance between the both of you has already played some part in there. The person has adapted to some new attitude. They have adapted some new things, like I said earlier, the new environment. They have gotten themselves already adjusted to things that happen in the new country of location. So it all starts to affect you. Now you're the person who at home and you think, oh well, this person not going to find any time for me. Oh, my own wife, since I came, she don't even have any time to spend with me. Oh, my own husband, since I came, he don't even have any way to find time to spend with me. He just pretend to be busy. And they're actually not pretending to be busy. They are being busy, working behind there, just trying to keep you going, trying to do everything to have enough money to keep you in a safe place until you can be able to get on your feet. But usually we who come, we don't understand it as that. We think they're just making themselves too busy to stay around us. And that person too, they have already gotten used to their new environment of probably just going to work, stay at work all day. And so it's going to take them some time again to readjust to spending time with you. So it makes it kind of difficult, it puts a strain on the both parties, because nobody knows how the other person is feeling at this moment, because we're not spending time together. And in order for you to know anything, in order for you to fall in love with anything, in order for you to master anything, you have to put in time. Anything you want to do, you have to put in time to it before you can know it. So in order to know your spouse, you guys got to be able to spend time together. In order for you to know how they feel, to understand how they feel, to know what's going on with them, you guys have to be able to spend time together. Even with your kids, in order to know your kids, you have to spend time with them. Don't think because, you gave birth to them so they're everything that you are. No, they are their own separate individual. And so you have to spend time understanding each one of them. And that puts a strain on everybody. It puts a strain on the mom, on the dad, on the kids, and everyone. Because life is so fast-paced and broad. People are just moving. Things are moving. This is a really fast-paced life. There's no slowing down. Because if you don't go to work, how can you survive? How do you raise the money? So people don't get to spend time with one another. And that's a big factor affecting marriages, affecting relationships among family members, and everything. And the third one is money. Money is the third factor affecting African marriages, African relationships abroad. And as difficult as it is to sit around and talk about money, of course we did not learn sitting around talking about money. Back in our countries where we come from, we did not see mom and dad usually sitting down talking about money. Dad made majority of the money decisions because he made a bulk of the money back home. And so we come to America or to Europe or wherever we find ourselves, and sometimes the women tend to start making more money than what the husband is used to. And so it becomes an insecurity issue. He starts feeling threatened. He starts feeling like, oh, well, his title as the head of the home is now taken over by the wife. And that's something he's not used to. The African man, I must admit to you, is not used to that. He feels threatened by that. Just very few of them are going to be happy, sincerely happy, when the wife is making more money than them. A bulk of them, they feel threatened. They feel like that's going to take away their status as the head of the home. That's going to limit their decision making. And so it starts to bring some friction between the people. Nowadays he's not too happy every day, or you're trying to crack a joke with him, maybe he's just on the edge, and we don't sit together to even make plans with how we're going to spend our money. How much money are we making this year? How much money do you make in a month? How much money am I making? Because like I said, we're not used to bringing our money to the table back home. We didn't grow up seeing our parents coming to the table and talking about money. It's a taboo. And so we grow up just not knowing how to do it. And so when we come to the West, where we see families have to come and budget because of how much expenses we have and how much little money we got coming in to maintain us and to be able to take care of families back home, it becomes an issue. Sitting down to talk about money becomes an issue in the African marriages when we travel. And that's one reason why most African marriages, they're being ruined, they're getting destroyed, because we're not used to that, and we come in a place where we have to talk about it now. So it becomes a sticky issue. Nobody wants to bring it up. And if you dare try to bring it up, you better know how you're bringing it up, because if you don't bring it up right, huh? Yeah, somebody might not be too satisfied about how you're talking about it, or why you want to know how much they make, or you want to control how they spend their money, and you want to determine what they do with the money. And so it becomes an issue. And sometimes maybe one person will end up in just withdrawing from the other just because of that. Or, I mean, maybe both parties just get into a big flame, and we just argue it out, and we just end up maybe in separating, or we end up in living in the home and just living in withdrawal from each other. No more talking to one another. No. And that is becoming a problem. And so I hope we can learn to just start, like my first point of adaptation. These are some of the things that we should try to adapt. Is sitting as a family and discussing things that affect us. Be able to listen with your heart, not just with your ears or your emotions. Be able to understand from whence the other person is speaking. Just spending more time together as a family, as a team, learning to work together, because you see, teams succeed because they work together. That's why it's called team. And that's no different from the family. The husband and the wife, we should be a team. We are a team. And that's the only way we're going to win. If we continue to see one another as team players, that if he kicks the ball and stops in the middle and I'm there, I need to pick it up from there and keep running with it. There's no reason for which I should stand and say, oh, why did you kick the ball half the way? Or I should stand and ask her, why did she kick the ball half the way? No. As husband and wives, our duty is to be able to stand there and pick up from where our partner stops. Our duty is to be able to fill in where they cannot reach. For all you married couples out there, for all you husband and wives, if you happen to find yourself in a crisis today in your marriage or in your relationship, I will urge you to take a step back, take a moment, and ask yourself, what attracted you to this person in the first place? What was that thing that sparked when you saw him or when you saw her? What was it that attracted you the most to him or to her? Whatever it is, whatever it was that attracted you to him or attracted you to her, just remind yourself of it today. Put aside your pride. Put aside that anger. Find a reason. Because that thing is still there in you. You still see that thing in him. You still see that thing in her. So I will urge you today to think about that thing. Start a conversation. And I just want you to remember that you both decided to come together because at the time you used to love one another, and you still will. There is still love. You are a team. And no matter what it is, no matter who earns more, no matter who learns more, no matter who does more, love comes with respect. And as a team, you both have to work together. Pray together. Hold hands together. Compliment one another, because that's what team members do. Wherever one is falling short, it's your duty to fill in, because that's the only way you're going to win. There are a lot of things out here that are against you. Time is not on your side because you have to work. There's not enough money because you have a lot of responsibilities. The environment we find ourselves in, we have to adapt to it. There are a lot of changes. And so there are just so many factors that are against your marriage, against your relationship, against your staying together, against your love. But I'll remind you that one thing that you saw, that thing that attracted you to him or to her, I want you to sit and think about it again. And start seeing him or start seeing her as that person you used to see. Just fall in love with them again. All over. Start all over. Maybe ask for a date. Or maybe take him on a date. Take her on a date. Sit down and talk. Start a friendship. Start afresh. It's always possible. It's always possible. God bless you, my friend, and I pray that you work it out. I love you. And like always, remember to be grateful for everything and eager for nothing.